You know what nobody's talking about? The Blue Jays might have just pulled off the most calculated chess move of this entire offseason. While every analyst and fan is obsessing over whether they'll land Kyle Tucker or what happens with Bichette, Toronto's front office just made a play that changes everything. This isn't panic mode. This is what building a dynasty actually looks like. And if you're not paying attention, you're about to miss how the Blue Jays are positioning themselves to dominate baseball for the next 10 years. What's happening right now in Toronto goes way beyond signing one big name or making a splash. Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro are orchestrating something that most organizations don't have the vision or the guts to pull off. And the move they just made with Alex Bregman proves they're operating on a completely different level than everyone else. So stick around, because what I'm about to break down will change how you see this entire offseason. Late Thursday night, Mark Feinsand from MLB.com dropped a bombshell that had baseball insiders scrambling. The Toronto Blue Jays and Arizona Diamondbacks are the two most aggressive teams chasing Alex Bregman in free agency. Not just interested, not just monitoring the situation. Aggressive. That word matters because it tells you exactly where Toronto's head is at right now. Think about what this organization has already done this offseason. They locked up Vladdy Guerrero Jr. to a 14-year, $500 million extension in April. Historic, franchise-altering. Then they brought in Dylan Cease on a 7-year, $210 million deal to anchor the rotation. Tyler Rogers got 3 years and $37 million to solidify the bullpen. These aren't random signings. Every single move fits into a bigger picture, and Bregman is the piece that makes it all make sense. Alex Bregman just opted out of a 3-year, $120 million deal with Boston after proving exactly what he brings to a contender. In 2025, he slashed .273, .360, .462 with 18 homers and 62 RBIs across 114 games. Now, some people will point to those power numbers and say they're down from his peak. Sure, he missed about 6 weeks with a quad injury, which absolutely affected his production. When you factor in the time lost, he was still on pace for his typical 23-plus homer season. But here's what really matters with Bregman. He just extended his postseason streak to 9 consecutive years. 9 straight trips to October. That's not a coincidence. That's not luck. That's a guy who knows how to win and knows what it takes to get there year after year. In an era where teams constantly miss the playoffs despite massive payrolls, Bregman has been a fixture in championship races for nearly a decade. And this is where Toronto's strategy becomes absolutely brilliant. They're not choosing between Bregman or Tucker or figuring out what to do with Bichette. They're creating flexibility. They're giving themselves multiple paths to build the best possible roster, regardless of how everything else shakes out. That's not desperation. That's elite front office management. That's how you sustain success instead of gambling everything on 1 or 2 moves. So let's talk about what makes the Bregman pursuit genius-level roster construction. The Blue Jays just came within 2 outs of winning a World Series championship with one of the most dominant defensive teams in baseball. They won back-to-back team Gold Gloves in 2023 and 2024. Defense is their identity. Defense is their foundation. And Alex Bregman doesn't just fit that identity, he makes it even better. Bregman won the Gold Glove Award in 2024 at third base with the Astros, posting elite defensive metrics all season. His 2025 numbers dipped slightly to +3 outs above average, but you have to consider the context. He was dealing with that quad injury and adjusting to a completely new organization. Over the past 5 seasons, Bregman ranks +18 in outs above average. That's top 10 among all third basemen. When healthy, there's no question he's a Gold Glove caliber defender. Now picture this infield: Bregman at third base, Andres Gimenez at shortstop or second base, Ernie Clement, who just set an MLB record with 30 postseason hits and led all of baseball with 22 defensive runs saved in 2025, playing wherever the team needs him, and Vladdy Guerrero locked in at first base on that massive extension. That's not just a solid infield. That's a defensive fortress that could legitimately lead baseball in runs prevented for the next 5 years. And defense wins championships. The Blue Jays nearly proved that in Game 7. Gimenez, by the way, is the three-time reigning American League Gold Glove winner at second base. Manager John Schneider calls him the best infielder in baseball. Despite missing significant time with an ankle injury in 2025, Gimenez still posted 9 defensive runs saved and 10 outs above average, best in the American League. Give him a healthy full season in 2026, and you're looking at arguably the best defensive second baseman on the planet. Add Bregman's championship pedigree, and you have an infield that opposing offenses will struggle against every single night. Here's where the Blue Jays' strategy really separates them from other big-spending teams. Every single move they're making fits into one cohesive championship ecosystem. They're not just collecting all-stars and hoping it works out. They're building complementary excellence. Each piece enhances the others. Cease gives them a legitimate top-of-rotation ace who averaged 13.1 strikeouts per 9 innings from 2022 through 2024. Rogers provides late-inning stability with a career 2.88 ERA. Guerrero's extension locks in a generational offensive talent through his age 40 season. And Bregman is the connective tissue that ties it all together. Since 2016, only 5 players have posted an OPS plus of at least 115 in 9 or more seasons: Freddie Freeman, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, and Alex Bregman. That's Hall of Fame level consistency. That's someone you can pencil into the middle of your lineup for the next 5 years, knowing he's going to produce at an elite level. In an era where offensive consistency has become increasingly rare, Bregman represents something you can count on. His career 133 WRC plus means he's been 33% better than league average throughout his entire career. You don't find that kind of proven track record often in free agency, but it goes beyond the statistics. Bregman brings 2 World Series rings, 9 consecutive playoff appearances, and a reputation as one of baseball's premier leaders. The Red Sox specifically targeted him in 2024-25 because they desperately needed someone to establish the right clubhouse culture. And guess what? It worked. Boston returned to the playoffs after missing in 2023. Now imagine that leadership combined with Guerrero's superstar presence, Gimenez's tireless work ethic, and Clement's October heroics. That's a culture built to win repeatedly, not just compete for 1 year. Let's address what everyone's wondering. Can the Blue Jays actually afford Bregman? Absolutely. And here's exactly why this works financially.